Caddo Parish DA James Stewart here. Hey, Judge, welcome back to Kiel. How are you this morning?
Good morning.
2 police officers have been indicted in connection with their actions at a Mother's Day event. You've, I'm sure, reviewed the case, looked at all the video. Could others be facing charges as a result, or do you think this is going to be it?
I think we've completed that investigation.
What did Corporal Philip Tucker and Officer Centerica Mosby, what did they do wrong in your eyes?
You don't have that much time for me to discuss it, but I think we had a painstaking, detailed, all sides presented to give 12 citizens the right to decide. And when they make a decision, they don't necessarily give you a fact situation. They just looked at it and they thought their actions crossed the line.
Judge, excuse me, when Aaron said just a couple of seconds ago, what did they do wrong? Your first response was, we don't have time. Those are pretty strong words. You must feel really, really strong about this case.
Oh no, I don't mean it that way. It was a two-part situation, and you'd have to go through each action, particularly with Officer Mosby. You'd have to go through each action she did or did not do. You have to measure policy versus conduct and all that to get to it. And I mean, we actually had 5 days of testimony and information. We had videos. We had radio transmissions. We had the officers' statements themselves. And so it was a lot of information. So I don't really want to. I think I'd do injustice to the grand jury to try to put it in a little 30-second sound bite. This is what they did.
When the grand jury, when your staff, etc., are looking at those videos, not to get too much into the minutia of it, but do you do like a frame by frame? How slowly, how many times would you say that you and or the grand jury went over that video, sort of dissecting the officer's actions?
I would just say tens of 20s. I mean, there were a lot of information. Not only was the video from information from SPD, but there were citizens' videos, things on social media, and other details. Some of it we slowed down to make sure we actually understood what was going on. We looked at it, but we gave all this information to 12 citizens and said, you look at it and you tell us what you want us to do. And I think that's the most important part. It wasn't just us. It was the citizens of Caddo Parish said, hey, you need to go forward with this in this manner.
In other words, you had a lot more views of the situation, a lot more because of eyewitnesses' phone videos, etc., right?
Correct. And you know, Aaron, I could look at something one time, and you look at it. If you look at it too many times, you start seeing a lot of different things. So we wanted to give it to 12 people and let them look at it. We had 12 different views of it, and I think that was trying to be open and to make sure we were going in the right direction.
There are people that are highly critical that they're on leave with pay. That has nothing to do with your office. That's a police officer's Bill of Rights, correct?
Correct. And they have their rights, and they're still innocent until proven guilty, and they should be. That's the way the system goes. So I have nothing to do with civil service or the SPD.
Okay, let me ask you this, and we're talking to DA James Stewart. Judge, how long do you think it's going to take to get this case to trial, and do you handle the cases against police officers any differently than a regular Joe?
No, and Aaron, you know, we're stacked with cases. We're working every day. We've got all these homicides, we got rapes, we've got domestic batteries. We got a lot of cases that'll be put in the system, and whenever they come up, they come up.
When you have a case against a police officer, you and I know this, it stains all police officers. How do you respond to that when you say, here goes another police officer in trouble?
No, look, at the same time that they were reviewing this case, they were also reviewing the death of Trubisky Odom, and they cleared 6 officers in his death. And so this grand jury was seasoned, and they cleared a lot of officers of death. There were at least 49 units, lots of officers out there, and it came down to these 2, and these may be close cases. So I think overall, since I've been DA, pretty much the conduct of the police has been cleared, at least from a criminal standpoint.
Were you trying to get indictments against more than 2?
No, I just start off with just reviewing the charges against people who were arrested, which is our job, and this kind of morphed into this. We weren't actually trying to get indictments or anything, but we just wanted to be thorough once we started looking at it, and some things popped out to the grand jury, and they wanted more information. And I think it was them saying, hey, we want to look at this. We want to see if this is just conduct that needs to be addressed by the police department or is something we need to deal with, and they did their job. So we weren't going after anybody.